Alright guys, hey, Universal here, back for another video, and as you guys can see right here, we finally hit the big 30K, followed by, three more zeros, in the future eventually, but I'm really happy. I'll finally give you guys this tier list video that y'all have been asking me for since, when this update come out? Scroll down a little bit. 2 weeks ago? Actually, it's Loki, it hasn't even been that long, but yeah, finally made my little tier list right here, so we gonna get into ranking these. I'm gonna rank them at random. If you skip to the end of the video, you're lame, but it is what it is. Anyways, let me get into ranking these. I'll start with Mara. Until this gets a rework, this is D tier, not F tier, not completely unusable, but I guess the good player who's using any top tier fruit, it's unusable. Only has one move that's actually able to hit, which is the beam skill, because they guard breaks. Every other skill is blockable with way too much startup to be actually usable in B. Therefore, it gets a really low ranking for me. Next up, we have one of the fruits I detest, but it's actually pretty usable, like against certain fruits. We have light at B tier. It's literally countered by holding your F button if you're smart. But the thing is, you could still punish people somewhat when they just throw out their own skills, and you have pretty good movement with this fruit, so it's not completely unusable if you know what you're doing against certain opponents. But against any top tier fruit, again, gets destroyed. Next up, we have, I'll do gravity. I'll give this one an A tier. Really solid fruit. Unfortunately for gravity, it is kind of held back by the fact that its ultimate isn't really usable considering how much wind up it has, and it literally tells your opponent where it's going to land. Don't know why it does that. It really shouldn't, but that sucks. And then we have planetary devastation, which locks you in place while your opponent can wail on you. The move itself is blockable, and it's just really bad. But now avalanche and shoot, this is a pretty good skill. You could literally combo extend off this skill if you're like a sweat, but like I obviously don't, because I don't even like to use gravity because you have to zone the whole time. You have a launch. This skill has crazy range. It's really good for catching your opponent off guard when they try to close gap between you, and then push is how you actually like create the gap between you, which these moves can be true comboed into each other, and they have relatively short cooldowns. And I've fought some really annoying ones, and they're really good if they know what they're doing with the fruit. Next up, we have smoke. I'd say this is either around the same tier as flame or maybe a little above it. The thing about smoke is it does have this one combo that does a lot of damage, but realistically speaking, you're never gonna hit this combo unless you somehow manage to land whiteout. I'm pretty sure whiteout is blockable, which kind of like, I don't know, it kind of like limits its potential, but it does have a better combo than flame, so I think I'll give it a little spot above flame. Next up, we have chop. Go ahead and put that in F tier. Chop car is busted, of course, but at the end of the day, it's chop. You can't do much with it. Really short range. I mean, chop car is cool, but like it ain't helping you in an actual fight. So it is what it is about chop. Let me go ahead and do a mythic fruit. Dragon, put that in S tier, not Z tier, because Dragon Claw is so counterable as a move itself. It's super sad, I know. I wish it wasn't so counterable, but it is what it is. If they gave that iframes, Loki, I would definitely put Dragon up there at the very bottom of Z tier, but just for the simple fact that you can like just have so much counterplay to Dragon Claw, like real dough, magnets repel, like it's just, you could just throw out a move and just counter their stun, and it's just really bad. Next up, we have paw. Definitely one of the top tier epic fruits. Loki, I consider putting this above gravity just because of the combos I've seen some people do with paw. It's insane for mobility, kind of counters gravity as a whole because you're never on the ground, and when you close gap, they can like hold skills in the air, so it kind of gets stopped by fruits that can hold skills in the air to avoid the 2 skill. But the 2 skill is pretty much unreactable if you're like fast enough with like combos and stuff. And I've seen somebody true combo the whole move set before, and it is so like, even the ult, they true combo the ult against me, and I was flabbergasted. But yeah, it's really good. Definitely not an epic fruit to sleep on, and honestly, I'd have it as my second best epic fruit. Next up, I'll do dark. A really solid fruit. I'll give it probably the top of B tier, I'm gonna be honest with you. Kurozu is really what carries this fruit. The fact that it's just like, it'll hit you no matter how far away you are, and not only that, even if you block it, it block breaks. And the only thing that's really holding this fruit back, I've seen the combos, especially when you get all the trees from using like a black hole. The combos do like 500 damage in like 3 seconds, and it's really insane. The only thing that holds this fruit back is Dark Hall. Even though this move gives you iframes when you're under the ground, the person who's getting hit by it can hold F, so when you do this little hit, when you like come up from the ground, they can block it and then punish you afterward, which is the only thing that holds the fruit back in my opinion. Next up we got Phoenix. Strictly going off the mode, definitely an S tier fruit. It's just the hitboxes itself, the combos, it's all dumb. When a Phoenix is approaching you, you know you're in danger. Now the base is like, I give it like probably like mid B tier, but the mode itself is definitely an S tier. The projectiles are really good, not really much people, like they're extremely huge, so like they'll hit like if you aim good, especially after somebody does their Soru. Even after the Soru, you throw 4 of them, so you could just readjust your aim. Phoenix Rush, great hitbox. Unless your opponent knows to hold heavy on F, they're gonna get caught by it. Or you could just Hawk Rush into it, which is one of the best skills in the game. Great for mobility, and it's unblockable, so you know you can just start your combos with it. And Fuji Azami, the skill is blockable, but most people don't turn properly to block the whole thing, so usually you'll end up hitting it and it can start your combos. Phoenix combos go insane. Next up we have Falcon. Actually, low-key Falcon combos hit harder than Dark combos. So I'm gonna have to put Falcon above Dark, especially for its ability to engage just in general. Low-key, you could definitely squeeze it to the bottom of A tier, but I'll put it in B tier. We go look at some Falcon skills. You have Wing Slicer, which is just grilled dough but with less range. You have Flying Talon, which is literally just the 2 skill on Phoenix, but you know, a bit slower obviously. It does combo start if you're near a wall, pretty good. This is just Fuji Azami from Phoenix, and also a skill that combo extends is really good. But one of the craziest things about this kit is Falcon Punch. That you could just hold this punch while your cooldowns are coming back, and then you could just keep your combo going, which is what makes Falcon so good. But that's really just for like 1v1 scenarios, which is kind of what holds the fruit back. But this is mostly a 1v1 tier list. I can make a more FFA based tier list in the future, but this is more of a 1v1 tier list, which is why this fruit can low-key be so high. You low-key get this at the bottom of A tier, but definitely an extremely solid fruit. Next we have Barrier. I got that at F tier. It doesn't even refract half the skills in the game, and it doesn't trap you in the bubble, which kind of just opts it completely. Spikes is like the one redeeming factor of this fruit, being a like unblockable skill, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, it just doesn't have the damage output and like speed in order to, you know, actually compete of the top tier fruits. So, you know, definitely an F tier for me. Next up we have Gas. I think it's above Light. I don't think it's above Dark, but I do think it's above Light. It's a really good fruit. The combos are good. The only thing about it is like relaxing gas as a skill can just be ran away from, and you have nothing that can really engage quickly. Suffocation is like combo extends, but it's really slow and it's blockable, so it's just like unless your opponent is rushing you, you're not gonna hit them. Your opponent literally has to come towards you for you to hit them. So without an actual good engaging skill, it kind of like dwindles the potential of the fruit in general, but still a really solid fruit. I definitely still have it above Light. Don't get me, still have it above. I hate Light, me personally. Let me do another mythic fruit. First Z tier, give that to Leopard. Obviously still one of the best fruits in the game. I have it as my second best mythic. You obviously know what I'm gonna put above it. This fruit is still dumb. The whole kit is literally unblockable, which is so dumb. It has 2 times mode gain. You can transform as long as you're above 20%. The base combos are almost basically damn near as good as the mode combos. The only thing that holds the base back is that Predator's Prowl is kind of weird, because when you hit them in the beginning, it doesn't stun lock them, so they can kind of mash a skill, which can get you punished. But like in the mode, you don't have to worry about any of that. Like after image combo gets way faster, way bigger. Spiral kick, again, way bigger, kind of faster. Claw barrage, one of the best skills in the game. It just does not make sense why this skill is just like basically instant proc, and the last slash goes through block. So even if your opponent is smart enough to block, you can just let it go and then they still get like comboed. It doesn't make sense. Rokugan, which used to be completely blockable but isn't now. So even if they like block the initial parts of it, the final hit will bypass their block, being able to start your combo if you're near enough to a wall. And even if you're not, you can throw a spiral kick and catch them. It's extremely dumb. And then you have Rising Claw combo. This gives you like complete iframes once you hit the skills, so you can just mash it out of a bad situation, and then bam, you can start a combo if you have like Claw Barrage or After Image Strike if you're close enough. An extremely powerful fruit. I don't know why it's as strong as it is. I mean, it was like a main boss's fruit in One Piece from the series, so I guess it is what it is. I really enjoy using the fruit, and I think the model's pretty cool. Next up, we have Hiei. My opinion, I think it's like a C tier fruit ever since they nerfed the potential for it to infinite combo, I'm pretty sure. Don't get me wrong, it's still like a pretty cool fruit, but like Geyser comes out way too slow. Doesn't have a big enough hitbox to hit anybody. Ice Age is actually a pretty good skill, but if your opponent's smart enough, they could pretty much get away from you. And Ice Dragon's definitely a really good skill. Like the travel speed is insane, and I think it has decent combo potential, but at the end of the day, the combos don't really do that much damage, and they're not infinite combos ever since the nerf. So, you know, it is what it is with Ice. Definitely still a solid fruit, but just not up there with the higher fruits. Let me see. Next fruit I'll do Goro. This is probably gonna be my bottom of Z tier fruit. Goro's an extremely solid fruit. Combo wise, it is just kind of ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you play off your 4 skill with full charges, which is basically a comment about how I'm not gonna lie to you, and your 5 skill with full charges, you get these 2 skills, which are amazing, pretty much unavoidable by your opponent, and can lead to some really good combos if you find yourself near any walls. So, you know, that's the best way to play with Goro, and definitely a solid fruit. I can see it going hand in hand with the next fruit I'm finna do, but I do think it's slightly better, especially like with Raigo itself being one of like the best crowd control skills in itself. Like you can barely avoid the skill, and you have to put your full effort into running away, because that hitbox itself is, ooh, it's rough. And then these 1 and 2 skills, like also the third charge being this dragon which bypasses block, which can also lead to starting your combos. It's just crazy in itself. Crashing Thunder and Lightning Palm, and then you have obviously your orbs. It's a really good fruit. I personally like Goro. I think its animations are cool and all that, and yeah, really good solid fruit. Next up, we have the fruit that I think goes hand in hand with Goro, Magnet. I put it at the top of S tier. It could obviously go at the bottom of Z tier if you really wanted it to, but I think it kind of gets outshone by other fruits in this category. Loki, honestly, yeah, I'm gonna leave Goro up there because I was gonna move it down, but it's still a really good fruit. If you're like playing against somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, you could definitely still take on like a Leopard or other fruit I'm gonna put here in a little bit. Magnet, an extremely strong fruit. For a legendary, it makes no sense why it's this strong. The thing about Magnet is once you put these metal arms on, like Repel becomes such a good skill for stun and counterplay. And then you have Cyclone, block bypassing just move that just starts your combos, or you know, keeps your just combo extends in general, which is ridiculous. The arms themselves do more damage for your M1s, which you can use in combos. You have Punk Prison, which summons a metal box that like has a ridiculous hitbox. Like, you see how far that dummy got dragged in from? It's like, look at that, the dummy's getting dragged in. It's ridiculous how far it drags in from, and it's unblockable at that if you're close enough. And you have Punk Cannon, which drags your opponent towards the end and explodes them, which is like Loki, one of the best ults in the game because it's also unblockable. It's ridiculous how good this fruit is, and you know, some other legendaries need some treatment like this because god, the fruit is too. Next up, we have TS Rubber. This one's interchangeable depending on the text you know of TS Rubber. After the infinite range nerf, I got it like down here. Actually, Loki, wait, I got Phoenix above Dragon. I got Phoenix. Loki, I don't know. TS Rubber and Dragon are kind of interchangeable for me depending on how you do. Obviously I'm not talking about the mode. The mode is like hot cheeks unless you're like using it to counterplay another mode. But you know, just in general, the mode is nowhere near as good as the base, just because the base has Jet Pistol, and it is such an insane move. Just a TP guard break, which just combo starts. I haven't used this fruit in a while though, I won't even lie to you, but It's an extremely fun fruit when you use it. You have your Red Hawk and you have your Grizzly Magnum, which bypasses block. It's keeps, and then your Jet Gatling, which keeps your combos going. And what really carries is just the short cooldown on Jet Pistol. It's ridiculous how short the cooldown is, but you know, a really solid kit. And if they would just speed up like King Kong gun, I think the mode would be a little bit more usable, but still definitely a solid mode if you use it to counterplay like a dragon mode or like a Phoenix mode. But you know, it's still worse than those, don't get me wrong. But yeah, pretty good. Not gonna lie to you, definitely S tier worthy. Next we have Bomb. I've seen some crazy combos with Bomb, not gonna lie to you. I don't think it's better than Dark. It might be, but I don't think it is personally. But Bomb itself is an insane fruit. I've seen the combos with it. That one skill has a really good hitbox and it guard breaks. Look at that. Look how far that goes. You have Leap, which is insane for mobility with a really short cooldown. And it can also be used in combos if you know what you're doing. Kick Bomb, a really good combo extender. It just auto targets your opponent and then you just land on them and you kick them. Seems more like a Shinra skill from like Fire Force. And then you have Howitzer Impact from like Bakugo. It's just you go up in the air and then you fly towards your opponent, do an explosion. Skill also combo extends, which is why the fruit like has like high combo potential. But most of the times the combos don't like, they aren't fully true. Next up we have String. Loki, I got this below gravity because the thing about String is it is definitely a powerful fruit. But what most people don't realize about String is that if you punish somebody while they're putting up their String clone, most moves in this game from top tier fruits are hot, strong enough to just one-shot the clone and you're just getting free damage off from your opponent. It's super easy to block the one skill. It has like people block it all the time against me. The two skill, if you block the initial part and then walk behind your opponent, you won't get hit and you can punish them. And then the four skill, the ult, it's so easy to dodge by just Soruing out. It's just, I don't know, bro. It's like, if you know the counterplay, it's an easy fruit to play around. It definitely feels like a good epic, but you know, it's just not on the level of Paw or this next room I'm doing, which is Magma. I got Magma low S tier. Oh, the combos with Magma, the range potential, the fact that you can block while doing the Magma Hound, the ult, basically it gives you like insane counterplay. It's like what allows me to fight Does when I'm using Magma. It's just a really good fruit. Oh my god, the combos, like it has great stun on it. Meteor Volcano, one of the best moves. It has like a great hitbox, can get around your opponent, can be used from range and still be followed up with like a major eruption. It puts block pressure on your opponent, like if you fly from above. It's just a really good fruit. And yeah, the combo potential is insane. I did a whole series on that fruit. I love when I did that series. It made me feel like this was like one of the only like epic fruits that got treated correctly back then. Next up, I got Doe, definitely Z tier. I got it above Goro, but you know, below Ope. I mean, not Ope, but Leopard. There is a Doe one-shot combo that I've seen, and it is kind of like, it is dummy. But overall, the amount of people I've seen consistently use that combo is too low for me to like rank it based off of that. But overall, Grill Doe, which is the move that carries this kit, is just so good of a combo starter. Great amounts of stun, really fast, drags your opponent in, and you just hit him with Lotus Doe. A Chestnut, just a move you just throw in the air. It's just a mobile like turret that like just shoots people near you, and they either have to block it or they're just taking a lot of damage just for existing. The Mirage is really good, and then you have Buzz Cut, which is a great mobility move and also gives you iframes, and then has a dumb hitbox when you're swinging your hand around. Like, you see that, like, it didn't even touch the dummy yet and it still caught it. It's just a really good move overall. Doe's been like top tier fruit ever since it came out. I loved using that fruit. It's always been amazing to use that fruit to me. But next up, we got Ope. Not gonna do it at the very end of the video, obviously, that'd be lame, and I have it at the top of the tier list. Great fruit. The room being able to block and Soru while setting up the room is what it carries the fruit so much. It like gives it so much potential. You have your tact, which is when paired with wreckage is super good because it'll literally go up above your opponent and slam them down. Hurricane Shock, a block bypassing grab, which is really good, does really good damage, and you know, it's just a really good move. Gamma Knife, best move in the kit. You just throw this move and they're just fried. It hits them once, it like waits a while, then it explodes, and then they're still stunned for, like, it's ridiculous how long they're stunned for. And the move has a great hitbox. You just have to aim in your opponent's general direction while being close enough, and it's multi-hit. It can hit multiple people, which is insane. You see that? You saw that 90 back there? It hit both targets. And then you have mess. This skill, once you take your opponent's heart, they pretty much belong to you. I'm not gonna lie. It is ridiculous. Like the potential of combos with mess. I don't even work M1s into my combos and I still destroy most people I fight. It's like way too strong. I don't know why. And you could use it like multiple times, like what, like 4 or 5 times, and they either have to hold F, and if they just hold F too much, you can just like tack them or something and then get your combo started that way. And if they're too far away, if they're inside your room, you have shambles. You can even shamble somebody outside your room to the inside of your room, which is insane. I've done it before in videos, and it's just like, it's too much potential on the fruit. Like it's called Ope for a reason. But definitely, my opinion, best fruit in the game right now, if you're skilled enough to use it, because it's not one of those fruits where you just press buttons and win. But if you can learn how to use it, definitely an extremely fun fruit. Next up, Quake. Definitely got it below gravity. I don't have it below string. I think Quake's better than string. If you know what you're doing, you can punish the string clone pretty easily. As long as you stay close range with a string, you pretty much just destroy them. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just depends on how good you are as a Quake. I'm not gonna lie. And I want the fruit to get a buff. I'm not gonna lie. They need a buff. Next up, we have sand. I low-key think that smoke is better than sand, so I'm gonna put it down here in E tier. Not giving much thought about this fruit. It's a lower tier fruit. You know, lower tier fruits, they're more interchangeable because obviously I don't have like series on them where I've like sweated with them and how I could use it best. But you know, definitely like a solid common fruit. Definitely way better than the other 2 common fruits, but it'd still be better. But you know, pretty solid move set, especially this, like all of that. Like look at that, moves look nice. They don't really fully combo extend, but you know, swamp is pretty nice. The ult is nice if it wasn't blockable. That is the only thing that holds it back. And next we have rubber. Got this at C tier. Unfortunately for rubber, it doesn't really have any combos. It's more of like a spamming fruit. It's like Pika but worse, if you will. And gear second, having infinite mode is what kind of like is a redeeming factor for the fruit, because it like means you don't have to be like as like close up and you know try to hit a Gatling and stuff, but still holds the fruit back overall. Doesn't have much range. Pistol spam is like decent, but it's not going to win you the match. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my tier list, guys, right here. If you skip to the end of the video, you're lame. Oh, snap. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys so much for 30K. It's been an amazing journey. And if anybody has any music they can recommend me for my Battlegrounds videos, let me know in the comments, because people keep asking me to try to use some new music and I really just don't know what to use. Like some action music I could put in the background and just turn down a lot. But yeah, thank you guys so much for 30K, and that's your video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.